In this video we're going to style this Pinus uncinata Yamadori into a bonsai.
This is what the tree looked like before it was styled. After pruning, wiring and repotting, this was the result.
So this tree is a Pinus uncinata, which is a variety of Pinus Mugo, and to be exact, this is the Swiss mountain pine. It was collected in the south of Germany 5 years ago. So it's a collected tree, a Yamadori. It was put in a very large container of its original soil and pumice for about 2 years. The tree wasn't pruned, wired, anything. And then 3 years ago, it was placed in this bonsai pot. 2 or 3 years ago, it was placed in this bonsai pot with a modern bonsai substrate, but mostly a mix of pumice, akadama and lava. And again, the tree wasn't touched at all. So you're looking at a tree that has been collected from nature, placed in a large pot, placed in a bonsai pot now, but it hasn't been pruned or wired at all. The only thing we did over the years was to remove some of the candles in late summer, just to improve its back budding and get a bit finer ramification. But other than that, the tree hasn't been worked on at all. This being a Yamadori, it's a very unique tree. You can see right away there's an awkward 90-degree angle here in this branch, which isn't ideal. Then there's two slender trunks with actually good branches, a lot of branches as well, so we have options there. And there's a lot of that small branches that will remove as well. So working with material like this and it being a Yamadori tree means to me that we have to be very careful. So I don't intend to style this tree completely today. I don't want to prune branches, remove the trunk and also add wire, for example, all at the same time, because I feel we would lose the momentum with this tree or it might even die. So the plan for today is to remove all the dead branches in the tree. And I want to make 1 or 2 big decisions for the tree, mostly this part. So this is a very awkward part in the tree, and it is a Yamadori, so removing this is a big decision, not something to do lightly. This tree is likely to be maybe 50 years old, and so this branch is probably 40 years old, so just removing it without giving it good thoughts isn't what I would like to do. But I've studied the tree and I do feel that no matter what I do with the tree, like if I would tilt it, it wouldn't look very nice either. If I would make this a back branch, then the front of the tree is very awkward and all the branches are also in the way. So giving it a good consideration, I think the only thing that we can do is actually remove it. So with a little pain in my heart, but it's what needs to be done. So I'm going to remove it right around at this point. So eventually, I think I will only use this part as maybe a gin feature, but for now I'll just prune it right here. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Actually, I'm not pruning, but sawing it away. All right, by removing this part, I think I remove about 20% or so of the foliage of the tree. So that also means to me, this being a Yamadori that I work on for the first time, that I won't do much else. The only thing that I want to consider is the tops of the tree, the apex. So I don't think I need to do much here, but right here, I think we need to make a decision what the future apex will be. This right now is a long branch. It could be the future apex, also making the tree even taller than it is right now. The alternative is that we would use this as the new apex, which I actually like better also because there's a bit more movement here and a bit more taper. So this I'll remove today as well, and that's the last thing I'm going to prune for now. And another maybe 10% or so removed. So like I said, that's all the pruning I'll do for today. The only thing left is to just scissor out all the dead branches, and I'll leave stubs everywhere so that I can make some gin features if I like. All right, I think that's all for now. So again, this being a Yamadori, we need to discuss aftercare as well. So I took off 20–30% of the total foliage mass of the tree, which is totally fine. The tree is healthy. We'll stop for now and wait at least a year. So we'll let the tree grow. I'll fertilize it starting now, it's early spring. And then in summer, I'll also again shorten the candles just to keep generating more backbudding for the tree. And then next year, again in spring or perhaps in fall, this tree can receive its next styling. But for now, I think we're all done. So we're back in the garden about 8–9 months after the last time we shot the video. Then we mostly took out one of the big trunks and pampered the tree during spring and summer. So lots of fertilization, the tree is healthy. So I think it's ready for the first proper styling of the tree. I'll spin the tree around a bit. And I think the front of the tree will be more or less like this. And that's mostly because the majority of the branches is growing on this part of the tree. So this is a natural open viewing angle into the tree, which is good. And most of the branches here we can use and also add to the sides, etc. So having studied the tree a bit, there's a few branches that are quite long without any foliage and also too stiff to bend. So this is an example of a branch that we can't really use in the design. So I'll cut it off right around here. That gives us the option to use it as a gin feature. Yeah. That's one. So let's see, on this side, I think the same story as the other branch. If you look at this one, it's very long without anything happening to it. So not something that we can use in a design. So also this one, simple. We'll remove it. So the only big decision that we do need to make is to establish a sense of hierarchy in the tree. Right now the two trunks are more or less the same height, which looks a bit odd. So I'm leaning towards making this trunk the main trunk, so the taller of the two. So that would mean that, for example, we can lift this upwards as the new apex or any of these branches really. But it also means that this trunk somehow needs to be reduced in height. There's one good option as the new trunk leader, that would be this one. So to wire this upwards, and then we remove everything that's here. So let's do that. Right, so the new apex of this smaller trunk, then the new apex of the larger trunk, so more or less like that. There's a bit of pruning here and there, but really it's mostly about wiring and setting these branches in position, pointing the foliage up again, and then that's it for today.
Styling a bonsai tree and applying these sort of techniques correctly is one of the most difficult parts in creating a bonsai tree. You can check out our YouTube channel for videos about these techniques, but perhaps also consider enrolling in one of our online bonsai courses. Here, expert teachers explain all the relevant techniques in detail, and as a student you can also ask questions directly to the teachers. Each of our online bonsai courses have free previews available in the curriculums. Simply go to bonsaiempire.com/courses. Try to select pairs of branches that are more or less of the same thickness and wire these with one piece of wire. Start with wiring the main branches and slowly work your way up the tree. Smaller and thinner branches need a thinner wire as well.
So we are about halfway the wiring. At the same time we worked on the deadwood features. So this used to be the third trunk. We'll reduce it. This gin right here. And I think the front of the tree is more or less like this towards the camera. So we'll continue wiring, setting the last branch in position and then placing all the branches. I'm surprised by how much difference the wiring already makes even before we really set it in position. So we'll continue wiring and then done for today. Alright, so we detail wired the entire tree. Every single branch has been wired. And the only thing left now is to set the branches in position. So starting with the main directional branches, so the lower branch first, and then slowly working our way up to the top. Alright, I'm very pleased with how this tree is coming along. We wired it about a year ago and I left the wire on until even just a few weeks ago, so almost a full year. The tree isn't growing all that fast, so the wire needs to be on for a long time for these branches to set in position, especially the thick ones. But it's doing well. So what we're doing today is basically wiring the entire tree again. And set all the branches in position again and probably leave the wire on for almost another year and see how the tree is doing then. Basic shape is coming along nicely. There's a few larger branches that I still want to bend down, this one for example. So what we'll do is add some raffia around it and then use a strong wire and then bend it down. Maybe even use a bit of a guy wire, but let's see. So we'll go through the process. I'll show some close-ups of the wiring, but it's just standard wiring, all the branches, and we'll take it from there.
Before continuing, I'd like to show you our Bonsai Care app. The app provides tree species specific information for all your trees, and it can set smart reminders to optimize the care for your bonsai. It is available for free in the app stores.
Finished wiring the entire tree, and I'm saying entire, there's a few branches that we didn't wire because we're going to prune a few branches. So we didn't set anything in position just yet. I think the first discussion we have is this long branch over here. There's two branches growing, at least here in the beginning, more or less parallel, so they could shape together into one pair of branches over on this side, but I don't really like it. There's a lot of length here without any foliage on it, and the branch right above it is really a nicer branch. So after giving it a long hard thought, we are going to prune this branch away. We wired it already, but that's irrelevant. It's just not something I want to keep in the design. So let's take that off. I cut the wire off so that I can use my concave cutter. And I'm leaving quite a chunk over here, which will create a gin out of later on. But this branch is gone. Then on this side of the tree, I'll rotate it towards you. We have a few long leggy branches on this side, and where these branches have developed nicely, same here. So there's just too much going on here. So without giving it much thought, I can just prune these away. En dan zal ik eerst deze even doen. Same story with this branch. There's a few really nice developed branches over here, and I think it's just too full, especially if you compare it to the other side of the tree. So same here. Then the branch over here, we have some options here as well, and it's the foliage pad as a whole is just becoming too full. So I'm removing this intersection, and we'll create the pad with the remaining branches here. And then I think the last branch that I want to remove is this one right here. It's very long, leggy, hardly any growth on it. Also not very useful in the design, so just easy, take it off. I think those are the cuts I want to make, so the rest of the branches we'll set in position, we'll fan it out, create some really nice pads. That's all for today. So again, similar to last time, we thin out the tree a little bit and create those nice pad shapes. The more ramification the tree gets, the more decisions we can make if we want to get rid of some more branches in the future. But for now, I think this is it. The tree, I wouldn't say it's a pure literati style tree. It's not a bunjin, but it's definitely got that feeling. So I don't want the branches to become too dense, too full. I don't want too many branches because this is a tree that shows the image of a tree that is struggling to survive. So you don't want very full, healthy foliage, a lot of branches. So for now, I think this is the foliage we'll work with. We'll set all these branches in position. We have to make a few big bends here to really bring those branches down again. And that's it. So then early spring repotting, and this wire will probably come off in about a year again, but let's see. All right, so the first branches have been set in position over here, this one as well. Since we are compacting the tree, so the branches, we bring it much closer to the trunks. It's becoming, from a very wide tree, it's becoming a more Nitrati style narrow tree. I think this branch over here is also not necessary anymore in the new design. So we already pruned the branch over here, we kept this one, so now this branch will also be cut. Again, as always, I'll leave a good section here just to be able to create a gin, but the majority of the branch will come off. Also completely wired, but until you start setting the tree, you just can't really figure out which branch you want to keep and which ones you prune. So better to just wire it out and then make these decisions once you start setting the branches. This branch, for example, really going downwards now, and before it went here. So until you make the decision, like I want it here, you can't know in advance where you want to place all the other branches. If you look at the branch right here, we showed it close up just before, but I think it's nice to explain a bit why we went for this design. What we always try to do is to bring the branches down and point all the buds up again, which also makes sure that all the sunlight hits the foliage well. And of course we try to create pads. We don't just want these branches all over, we want to create some compact pads, use the branch to create one mass of foliage here. And when we are done with this one, we created the next mass over here, same here. And that way we slowly work our way up the tree until we do the apex at the very end. All right, just as an update, so we'll continue setting these branches in position and go from there. All right, finished wiring and setting all the branches. Very pleased with the design. As you can see, the tree went from a very wide, spread out design to a much more slender design, and I'm pleased with the result. I still think there's a lot of branches for the design of the tree, but for now I'll keep it like that. It's healthy for the tree and it gives me options for later on. If any branch would come off, it would probably be this, for example. Also the tops are quite heavy still, so perhaps we'll reduce that in the near future. But for now the tree will go into winter. I don't think it needs special care. I'll keep it in an unheated greenhouse, perhaps in the coldest nights, but really this tree doesn't need much protection at all. And like I mentioned, in the next spring it's going to be an exciting moment because we'll place it in a new pot. The next part in this video you will see the actual repotting of the tree. It's early spring right now, and finally I can repot the tree into a nice pot. This being a nice, slender, almost feminine tree, I'd say, I have a pot that I think is a really good match for the tree. So the pot that I have is a Yamaki handmade Japanese pot, which is a lot larger than the current pot, but also very shallow. So the design that we're going for is not something like this, a tree in a pot, but it's going to be a tree more like a small landscape pot. So there will be a bit of a hill here and then these two slender trunks appearing from that. At least that's the idea. I've never repotted this tree before. We collected it in the south of Germany, and then somebody else put it in this pot when it was still in Germany. I picked it up a year later. So I have no clue exactly what the roots look like, so that's going to be a bit of a surprise, but either way this pot will be fine. It's just the question will be how high is this hill going to be. But let's wait and see. So the first step is to prepare the pot and then take this tree out of this pot, comp out the roots, see how the roots are doing, and then we'll place it in the new pot.
Next, we prepare the pot by covering the drainage holes with a mesh. We also attach long wires, which will be used to anchor the tree to the pot firmly. If you like this video, please help us by hitting the like button or subscribe to our channel.
Alright, so I just wanted to give an update. We took off, I think, about half of the roots, which is the max I would like to go with working with pines. As you could have seen, we put some coarse soil on the bottom, and on top of that we used a bit of the old soil that the tree was planted in, which is a good thing to keep the mycorrhiza intact, which is the symbiosis between the roots and nutrients that we add to the tree. So by adding that into the soil, it's just a bit more certain that the tree will do fine. The reason I wanted to give the update is also to discuss the position of the tree in this pot. So we have a large pot which gives that landscape feeling to the tree, and by placing the tree a little bit to your left side of the pot, we add a lot of negative space, open space here, which I think looks really nice. The other thing I wanted to discuss is the angle, but also the orientation of the tree in the pot. So we move the tree a little bit from here to here, and this is where we started, but from where you're looking at the front of the pot, these two trunks are now very parallel next to each other, which doesn't really look good. So you can either tilt the tree more this way, but then we would have to reposition the branches a lot. So I think the better way to go is more or less this direction, where this trunk is a little bit more to the front and this trunk a little bit more to the back. In terms of the angle, I want to have the movement of the trunks as much moving as possible. So all the curves that we have, I want to be visible from the front. And these tops should come towards you a little bit. So I think more or less this angle, like, I don't want it to give you the feeling that it tips over. I don't want to give the feeling that it's very straight up. So this really is the position. So this is more or less where I'm looking at. We prepared the wires in the pot on this side of the pot, so we'll use the 3 wires to reattach the tree well to the pot, and then add soil. So the first layer of soil is very coarse. All the rest of the substrate will be a medium-sized particle.
The soil mixture we use is a blend of akadama, lava rock and pumice. You can read more about bonsai soil on our website, bonsaiempire.com. Learn how to create your own bonsai trees by enrolling in one of our online bonsai courses. We explain techniques like pruning, wiring and repotting, and you can ask questions to the teachers. For the curriculums and free lessons, go to bonsaiempire.com/courses.